So I'm using the same deck that I used when I presented about a year and a half ago, but I'm making a couple of changes based on the changes of our company. So a lot of the information is still the same. My name's Chase Dalton, and I am the co-founder of Silicon Signs. Last time. Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, is that better? Okay. So my name is Chase Dalton, and I'm a co-founder of Silicon Signs, and we are sign manufacturers and installation company here locally, but we have also transitioned to more of a national sign company, and we ship stuff all over the country now for some large multi-location and franchise companies. My partner James, he's back running the shop. As you can see on that bottom of that slide, I had before that he's a technician and a maven, but he is a manager now. Now that we have 7 or 8 employees now, he runs the shop. I work from home, and I just manage the sales and things like that. Wrong way. These were a few of our clients that we had a year and a half ago. Some of the other bigger clients we've picked up are Crumble Cookies, which has been great. Cut Bop more recently. And that's our focus is those franchise restaurants. We've put some systems into place to help us be able to manage these large multi-state or national accounts and keep things on schedule and with very competitive pricing. So before I focused a lot on design, that we were designers that made signs, and you can see some of these slides reflected that. I've forgot about. I've dropped that. There's not a whole lot of what we do in design. We are all designers, but we focused on our revenue generating activities, which is what we do best, which is creating signs and selling them as fast as we can and doing a good job on that. So our strategy from the beginning, it was just me and James in a basement of an office, and somehow we huffed a printer down there, and that's the only piece of equipment we had. And so our strategy was to outsource everything we could. We wanted to be able to build a larger client base quickly by outsourcing and pushing jobs through quickly. We sacrificed a lot of our profit margins then, but now we're on our way to bringing in our production in house. We were going to do it a little bit slower, but once COVID hit, we decided that was our timing to capture all the profits we could. We weren't sure if the jobs were going to keep coming as quickly as they were, and so we got some money from the SBA, from other government programs and grants, and we bought a bunch of equipment, a few more employees, and we are pretty much all in-house as far as production goes. So that has made we're a little more leveraged now, of course, but we are able to capture more of the profit margins and have more control over our pricing to maybe capture some of these bigger clients as well. We still have 5-star reviews on Google only. Knock on wood. Somebody for me, please. It's been great. We take care of our clients. When something goes wrong, we fix the problem. I think that's the biggest thing. Things will go wrong, but when we make a mistake, we fix it. Even if somebody else makes a mistake, we tend to fix that too, because it's just not worth the negative reviews and press. We do have word of mouth advertising. I'm the only person who really does any sales, and I really don't do that much sales. It's mostly account management. And then we have other account managers as well in the office. This is more of that kind of design stuff. We still make beautiful signs, and we try to be different. And it's been really fun being here in the Silicon Slopes and having people try to be a little bit different. Built Bar is just bought a couple buildings over at American Fork. And if you haven't seen the inside of their building or the outside, it's beautiful, and we're helping them decorate that. We've had a lot of fun doing that. So some issues that we're still having and have run into that we'd love some feedback on from the community here. Before, we were in a lawsuit, and what I'm allowed to say is it was settled in a mutually beneficial way. So that's all we could say about that. But we are ready to grow without that monkey on our back. We were in a lawsuit since the first week we were in business, because sometimes people don't want you to be in business that are doing the same work as you. But that's over, and we're better for it. And I feel like I got a little in-house MBA and law degree at the same time. So that's been wonderful having that over. So before, with our financials, we were doing a lot of bank balance accounting, where I just kind of had to use a Ouija board and say, okay, can we buy this? Can we hire another person? There's this much money in the account. I've worked a lot closer with a CPA and a bookkeeper to keep things on track. I've contracted with now CFO to do some projections for us. That's been helpful, but I'm still not there yet. I still feel like I need to use my checking account as a gauge of when to make business decisions and growth decisions. And I'm not sure how to get out of that. And so I'd love some advice on what you guys have done or what you've seen or read about to make sure that you knew what the financials were of your businesses. We're still struggling with where to grow, how to grow, when to grow. We're just going with our guts right now. And if there is a system or a formula, I'd love to know about that. And then a few questions I have for you guys. Tips on becoming more financially aware, like I said. And then we're transitioning into, in closing, we're transitioning into this new phase where me and my partner aren't needed as much. We have a really talented group of loyal employees who are wanting to have more responsibility and wanting to take over. And we need to get out of our own way. We're trying to put systems into place so that we can do that. And we're ready to, and we'd like to, but it's tough giving up some of the control. I heard a quote that said that, it might have even been here when I was presenting last year, but that the strength or the weakness of a business is the strength of the founders. And we're starting to see that. Me and James need to get out of our own way so that we can allow our employees to thrive. And if there's any advice that you guys could give me to help us be able to do that, that'd be wonderful. That's all I have for today, but again, I thank you for your time and welcome any questions or comments or advice.
Hey, nice job, Chase. Just curious, when you were talking about one of your big challenges is how do you know when to grow and where to grow and how to grow? Have you ever considered putting together a financial model that lets you do scenario analysis, and so you can do side-by-side comparisons with those?
You know, I'm hoping that with this is a recent thing, contracting with now CFO to do some of that budgeting and modeling. I'm hoping that we can get some of that. But are you saying that there are models that you can kind of predict what would happen if you do this, and what's maybe an example of one of those?
Well, this guy sitting over here at this table, Bart Scala. He's one of the co-founders at RevRoad, and he does that for portfolio companies here all day long. So you might want to just talk to him afterwards, because there's a great pattern for doing that would be helpful to you.
Well, perfect. Thank you.
So it sounds like you've made some effective pivots before. What was the process behind making those pivots, and what kind of pivots do you foresee possibly doing in the future?
Pivots, like I mentioned, bringing the production in-house, is that kind of what you're referring to? A lot of it had to do with, did we have the manpower to run it, and we were able to have the capital to buy certain equipment. Because of the pandemic, there's a lot of money that was freed up for small businesses, and as soon as I caught wind of any of that, I applied for everything that there was. We ended up getting the SBA loans that had low interest rate and over 30 years. And, they asked me how much I wanted. I said, as much as you'll give me at 3% interest. I got the maximum there and other grants and PPP loans. And so we're able to use that and roll it into buying equipment. We're at a point right now where we moved into a big shop. We're in an 8,000 square foot shop now, other than that 1,000 square foot basement office we started in. And we have space to grow, and I feel like we have our executive team. So I think like I said, before the next shift would be to hire more hourly type employees to be able to handle the work and get out of their way and let the executives that we've hired run the business for us. So then James and I can step back and work on the business and do things like this rather than grinding every day doing the technical work.
Recently, I learned about a business concept called the Hedgehog Concept, and I think it's really incredible. Part of it talked about how every business, every firm needs to think about what they do that's better than anybody else, that nobody else can really replicate. Have you ever thought of that, or what is that you guys do that nobody else can really replicate?
Well, I'm not a sign guy. I didn't study sign sciences in college or anything, but I have a background in sales, and I just like hustling. And what I noticed about the sign industry was that it's really hard to get a call back from people. The industry is flooded with technicians, where people that had worked for a sign company before looked at the margins, looked at the costs of the materials, and said, hey, I could buy a Chinese printer and do this better than my boss. And so they run out and they buy 1,000 square foot basement office and try to run a sign company out of it. What we do differently is that there's customer service in there. We're not just technicians. My partner, James, he does come from the sign industry, and he's amazing. Anything there is to know about it, he knows. But on the other half of things, I respond to people's emails, and I get them quotes back within minutes or hours if I can. And it's amazing what being responsive and having good communication skills does in this industry. I know that's important to every industry and every business, but particularly in an industry that's flooded with a bunch of technicians, customer service ends up standing out heads and shoulders above most of the competition. And so it sounds weird and it sounds simple, but that's what we've done that's different than everybody else. Not everybody else, but most of the companies out there, is we respond to our emails, and we call people back, and we answer our phone, and we're available all the time.
Hi. First, I just want to say great presentation. I think you guys are going to do wonderful going forward. I guess the question I had was just digging a little deeper in that same line of question. Thinking about the law of value in business, and what your company's mission is. I came in a little bit late, so I might have missed it, but what would you say is the kind of the main message you're trying to send to your clients and to the people that you want to serve, as opposed to just bringing them good business with signs? What value are you trying to add to their lives aside from that might set you apart from some of your competitors?
That's a good question, and it's something I haven't given a lot of thought to, as far as something that goes beyond what we're actually doing. Like, is there some social aspect to it? No. Are we changing people's lives, for the better by creating beautiful signs for them? Hopefully, as a byproduct, hopefully they're bringing more business in the door, but in such a competitive market, as far as not competitive as in low profit margins, but competitive as in everybody has signs. There's no business that doesn't have signs all around their inside and outside of their business. It's hard to really be so different because people have an idea of what they want and they kind of want the best service and the best price. And so that's what we focused on offering them. It's something that I think internally could help us by having a stronger mission, but we've been just sprinting since day one, both to stay alive through the lawsuit and also to bring more business in the door, that we haven't had time to really work on the business. And that was kind of how the end of that of my presentation was. I'd like to work on the business and start asking myself those kinds of questions, and let the employees run the business.
Hey, so correct me if I'm wrong, I might have misheard, but you said that most of your marketing was done word of mouth. I was just wondering if you tried other avenues or if that was just something that works best for you.
Yes, we've tried some Google ads, and our return on investment was actually pretty good. But we, I know this sounds stupid to say, but we stopped our Google ads because it was too much business, and we wanted to focus on the clients that we had and take care of them. Our model is to go after repeat clients, like those franchise clients, because then we don't have to spend as much money on a sales staff. We just spend money on account managers. And then I've been able to go out and somehow get in front of the right people to get these franchise restaurants and accounts. And so the one-off clients aren't really who we're going after, and Google seemed to be bringing those ones in. Yeah, we have tried that, and we decided it wasn't for us right now. Maybe when we have more people in, or more salesmen, more account managers that can have enough time to handle the one-off things, then we can turn those back on. But we haven't done much more than just take care of the clients we have, and then that's just grown because we've done good work for them.
So I remember a year and a half ago when you presented, you talked specifics on where your company was at with revenue. I was just curious, have things improved consistently, or has it been more of like a feast or famine type deal? It sounds like you guys are doing well, though.
Yeah, we at that point, I think we were coming up on maybe a $500,000 in our first year. That was in the beginning of 2019. For our first full year in business. So 2019 ended with about 1.2 million in revenue, which we were ecstatic about. We were on track for about 1.5 for 2020, but the universe has some different ideas for that. No, we're still on track for to do about the same as 2019, about that 1.2. And we're really, really excited about 2019 and some of the projections that we have. And we've talked to some of our clients that have these multiple locations that are opening 50, 60 to 150 locations next year. So that's part of our gear up of buying a lot of the equipment, was getting ready for 2021. So 2021's our year, guys. It's not 2020. Yeah. So, but yeah, things have gone great, but we're still hungry, and we're ready, and we're capable of doing more.
Sorry, I already know I asked a question, but I noticed that you have for one of your clients up there UVU, and I was just curious if you've tried to kind of get a foot in the door with the K through 12 schools as well, just because I know, walking around, you can see they have tons of vinyl signs constantly going up, just like the ones here on the stage. And, is that something you've attempted to do? Is there already kind of one sign company that's kind of monopolized that whole market, or are you looking to get in there as well?
As far as interior signs go, we are the ones who have monopolized that corner of the market for the Alpine School District and Provo School District. We do a ton of work with them, and they are the gift that keeps on giving. It's been amazing. They have budget to spend, both through athletics and other departments at the Alpine School District. But we've done very, very well with the schools, especially through COVID. Once I got in early with a lot of these schools and was able to put together some of these social distancing COVID packages, and kind of lumped all the schools together for a quantity discount, and was able to really clean up with them, and it was pretty good for us. Yeah, the COVID, as far as for the most part, hasn't affected us too much. It's slowed down the growth, but we haven't slowed down our regular workflow, which is we've been really lucky to say. Of course.
My feedback is that you've talked about your niche essentially being customer service. You're kind of in red ocean territory with your signs are very competitive, as you said. Probably my main feedback is, as others have discussed, focusing on what makes you unique and carving out something, because as soon as maybe some of the larger competitors start to catch on as to what makes you unique, it might be fairly easy for them to replicate that improved customer service. So you'll want to probably be thinking as you strategize a step ahead. What can we do to remain unique? Something that would require our competitors to invest significantly, and will already be a step ahead. So maybe you make the process. You've already improved it by getting back to people, but maybe you make the process even easier through technology and apps and website, self-guided, something like that, to sort of always be a step ahead.
Yeah, that's a really good idea and great feedback. Thank you. So what you're saying is use the customer service and excuse me, our communication, and find ways to expand on that within other realms while still keeping the focus on the customer service.
Right, maybe using technology to sort of double down on this idea of being a really easy company to work with.
Yeah, I like that. Thank you.
Darren Hall, the CEO of Rev Road right here, he recently had me read this book by Jim Collins. It's called Good to Great. I don't know if you heard of it, but I think it's that book. I really think it really focuses a lot on that. Like I talked a little bit earlier about the Hedgehog Concept. I think it actually talks a lot about that. Really honing in on what makes your company different, or what ways for you to go forward that'll be crazier than anything else anyone else is doing, and kind of what he talked about. I suggest you read it. Maybe I think it would be a good help.
So good. It's called Good to Great.
Good to Great
And
by
also
Jim Collins.
Hedgehog Concept.
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna log those away. Thanks.
All right. One last question for you, and I guess in a way we've already done it. We've addressed it a little bit, but what can the 1MC community do for you?
You know what? I should probably be coming to more of these meetings and presentations and just learning from you guys. I love free advice and free information, even if I have to pay for it. I love that too. But just information is wonderful. It's been rare that I've implemented something that somebody smarter than me has told me, and it hasn't worked. So I want to do more of that. I'm not a self-professed great entrepreneur. I'm just someone that had an idea and found a great co-founder, and I've been able to support my family and others with it. So I'd like to continue to learn and maybe do this a couple more times with some other businesses. So thank you.